the Wednesday Night Dash season ended in a ball of fire, literally a ball of fire for me.
Pretty much.
I don't know. I think devastated might be a little too much, but it was just to end like that. Oh, we'll get into that. And oh yeah, there was a race at Bristol, and there was some tire stuff. We'll get into that too. This is FR Racing's Garage Talk. I'm DJ Fluck.
I'm Erik Richardson.
Before I hit record, though, I said, "Do you remember Showbiz Pizza Place?"
It sounds vaguely familiar, but I can't place it.
So Showbiz Pizza Place was a competitor of Chuck E. Cheese in the 80s and early 90s, and then Chuck E. Cheese bought them out and then turned all the Showbiz Pizza Places into Chuck E. Cheese.
Okay,
So
that's why I know it.
if you remember the location in Indianapolis by the Castleton Mall on the north side, there was a Chuck E. Cheese there. That was actually a Showbiz Pizza before. So this is a throwback to childhood. Yeah, I was growing up not with a Showbiz Pizza or a Chuck E. Cheese in town. That was a big deal when you got invited to a birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese.
That and Discovery Zone.
Discovery Zone. That was the other. Yeah. And then there was another place called Leaps and Bounds. Do you ever go to that one?
Never went there.
Leaps and Bounds is like a massive Discovery Zone. And then they went bankrupt and Discovery Zone bought them. And then Discovery Zone went bankrupt because it was an indoor playground and it had like ball pits and climbing ropes, and you had like these trapeze swings. I remember one time I got in trouble at a Discovery Zone because they had this trapeze swing. My brother, who was probably, I don't know, about 6 or 7 at the time, he's probably about 5 or 6, so that would have made me about 8 or 9. He was standing there and I jump on the trapeze swing and I swing across the ball pit, legs out, full extension, and just pop him with a kick him right into the ball pit. And the Discovery Zone guy, like, it's
It's
my
probably
brother.
amazing that either you or your brothers weren't like seriously injured over the years at the hands of the other one.
Yes, yeah, it is really amazing that I still have all my limbs and I didn't shoot my eye out with firecrackers. You too. I mean, let's be honest here. Like, you're lucky you didn't shoot your eye
Hey,
out with firecrackers or burn yourself severely.
hey, you told me to aim it up.
Or shoot paint, Roman candles, wars, it's childhood stuff.
Duels with paintball guns, lighter fluid on shoes,
Yeah,
no big deal.
stupid things. Anyway, so I it's frustrating that how Wednesday Night Dash ended this week. I was fast. I kind of botched my qualification run, but still started fifth. I was great in practice. I was only about a tenth of a second off of Colton, and I was hanging up there with the leaders for the first 10 laps. And then, unfortunately, a Lane Snow was coming up off the apron after the start finish line, and spotter said clear, so he started coming back up onto the track, and he just went right into me, sent me spinning. I clipped him. We both totaled our cars. We both had to take tows, and that was our night.
Yeah, I didn't run, but I think the spotters may have started the end of season party a little early.
Yeah, they
Saw
may
a
have had a
couple of
little
spotter issues
a
tonight.
few of those. There's been some spotter issues lately in iRacing where clear when you're not. John Miles had an issue earlier this season where his fuel calculator misjudged and shorted him a lap somehow, and he ended up having to like basically coast across the start finish line in a race. And yeah, it's just I keep debating abandoning crew chief and going back to the iRacing one because it's getting better, but just kind of the voice of the iRacing one annoys me.
I don't think I've actually used that one.
It sounds too robotic. You got the British guy with the crew chief. Is that you or me? Oh, oops. I put timer instead of stopwatch on. Yeah, for our Sunday night show, we run a timer, and when the timer hits 0, we end it, but not for the full show.
Yeah, full
Like,
show. Who knows what we might touch on?
I'm like, that's not the security alarm. I don't have that on. Not a smoke alarm. Anyway, yeah, it's just I had enough fuel when I came out of the pits to run to the end, so I stayed out at the competition caution, got a lap back, but I was 3 laps down at that point, and then I was just, I got 20 laps into that second run, and I was 2 seconds off the pace, just with completely dead tires, and I had no choice. I had to stop, and that just ruined my night even further. It was a bad gamble. I didn't have a choice. Like it was a bad gamble, but I didn't have an alternative. It was trying to stay out and hope somebody else wrecked, and that didn't happen. Or pit and lose, with everybody else not gain any time back. It just sucked. Whatever.
Yeah, congrats, Colton won the
Yes,
race, finished
Colton
off
won.
his season championship.
Yeah,
And
he
Brian McKinney ended up second overall, and then
Dylan
Dylan ended up third.
me for 10 points back in fourth. So it's fourth is my best finish.
Yeah, good solid season.
Good solid season. The change of the points definitely helped structure. It took advantage of being there every week. And the other thing too is I had that issue at Phoenix where I got booted out of the server, which hosed me and Lane out over that one. So couple things bounced my way. Maybe I would have finished third, but not to be. So we're off to trucks on April 17th at Pocono.
I just hope I can make all the races this next season.
And we announced on Wednesday Night Dash, Hunter will be back in the truck next season, and we've got a new announcer with us, and I'm gonna botch his name again, even though I embarrassingly asked him the pronunciation on the broadcast. Trevor Kratzer will be our new play-by-play voice. So
Welcome, Trevor.
welcome, Trevor. I told him we're gonna sit down in early April, just get the kind of the routine going again with the new announcer. So we had Kendall, we had Eli, we had Hunter, and now Trevor. So this is the fourth voice of Wednesday Night Dash coming up. So very excited about that. We're looking forward to having Hunter, not only Hunter back in the car, but also we got a new voice. So this is we're moving along, so we can start the recruiting. Did you watch Sebring at all last weekend?
I didn't. I was busy getting ready to leave and
I
just
I
never got to it.
I saw a few minutes of it. Bought a new car last week actually. And then on Saturday morning, almost had somebody back into it already.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, good. Good lay on the horn. I'm like, oh, know where the horn is. It's
Get a new car and it's like a magnet inside going,
two
hit this.
days. I hadn't even had the car 48 hours yet. I'm backed out of a parking spot, and the problem is there was a giant pickup truck directly behind me, so I'm trying to work my way out. And I'm still trying to get used to it. I bought a Ford Bronco, and going from a Fusion to a Bronco, it's a little bit of an adjustment. So I'm trying to not back into this truck, and I'm getting out of my spot, and I look up and I see this car start backing out like right towards me, and I just start laying on the horn, and then they stop, and then they pull back into their spot, and I'm just like, no, like, please, can I have something nice for once? And
Pay attention to what people are doing.
the thing is, that car had a rear view camera. They were straight in line with my car. There's no way you couldn't have seen me. You weren't looking at the rear view camera. Like, the whole point of the rear view camera is to avoid things like this.
They're probably texting.
I just don't think they're paying attention. But then on top of that, I let them leave the lot first, and it was a park that we were leaving, and it's a birthday party, and they start going down the main road back to the stoplight to get onto the street. Completely ran the red light. I'm like, oh my, ugh. It had been red for a good 3 seconds. I'm pretty sure it was already green the other direction, and they just blew right through it. No big deal to them. I'm like, no.
I wonder if they stole the car.
Oh. Anyway, I miss Sebring. That story was completely unrelated to that, but didn't get a chance to see Sebring. I saw that wreck. That was nasty.
Yeah,
Got
that's
a
crazy.
little close to the spectators, those flying tires. That would be a little terrifying. You're a spectator, all of a sudden somebody hits the tire wall, flips over it.
Hopefully we don't get any flying tires at the Indy 500 this year.
Yeah, that was very lucky that just a car was damaged.
Yeah, on TV that looked bad, but knowing the track, it
But
misseeds by so much.
I mean, from the TV angle, you couldn't tell where that. I mean, it looked like it missed the stands just by kind of its trajectory of how it disappeared. And if it would have hit something or the stands, it would have bounced, and it didn't. It just disappeared. So I assumed it missed the stand, but still terrifying.
Yeah, I will be back over right next to that section actually coming up here.
Yeah. Well, the anyway, Bristol.
Yeah, we touched on that on Sunday. That was did you
Yeah.
see the Instagram videos at the team? I think it's maybe JGR, one of the workers just picking up the tires, and it's not even marbles, it was literal shreds.
Yeah, like Byron, Byron's crew posted there was just nothing on that tire, and uh there was the radio of Josh Berry, like, this is the most fun I've ever had in my life. And
Even Larson's like, I don't want to do it again,
he
but
actually clarified his comments.
he enjoyed it.
Yeah, he's like, I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I just wish that rubber would have set down into the concrete a little bit better than that, and have the multi-line. But it
Yeah,
it created a race that we have not seen in a very, very long time.
I hope that they can find a balance between the tires they've been running. Bristol is a little too far, a little too soft.
It was
But
the
I
same
like
tire.
I like the tire degradation.
Yeah, and then
You had to manage it.
you had I think I saw that the last time only 5 cars finished on the lead lap was Dover in 2004. So it's been a while.
Year after I went to the 2003 spring race.
You went to Oh, that's right. I forgot.
I've been to Dover.
I mean, the truck race Saturday. Yeah, it was Saturday. It was relatively uneventful, which
Is rare.
rare for the truck series, and you don't say that very often. That the first stage or so was pretty clean. There was only one caution, I think, outside of the stage for like the first two. Then it got a little messy at the end, but it wasn't a bad race. Just there wasn't a lot to talk about. Um, Kyle Busch with another lap probably would have won that race, but
That's a little tempting. I'm
is that?
actually only 51 minutes away from Martinsville.
Ooh, go check that out.
I'm going to do a drive-by of Charlotte on Sunday.
I'm, this summer when I go to California, I'm so mad at myself. Last summer I didn't go to Auto Club. Now, like, who knows what shape it's in. I just don't get this good feeling that Auto Club is going to open again in any form anytime soon. But it's like, what do you do? Like, you're just completely, the Cup Series is completely ignoring the West Coast now by, forget that. Like, let's be honest. Like the whatever that whatever you want to call that at the LA Coliseum, that doesn't count. And the
I
rumors of
like the
Dodger
Clash.
Stadium, yeah, the Clash. Like, it's not a race; it's a Clash. That's about right. And then there's
And
rumors of Dodger Stadium. You had something good with Auto Club, and you got greedy. Like, now your furthest race west is Las Vegas.
I know Dale Jr. was talking about the Clash and kind of like And to people saying that it just needs to go away, I like the Clash. It's been fun.
You like
That
the Clash
just not.
in its current form, or just the Clash concept in general?
I like the Clash in general, just not the current track.
Okay, I was about to say, what's likable about that other than getting another race on TV of some kind?
The Coliseum, it's just not
So,
good.
so here's a question for you. NASCAR really let the Clash doesn't count. It has no California presence. Do you build a new track? Like, I just don't see Auto Club coming back. Like, there's no incentive to finish that funky quarter mile, whatever it's gonna be. Do you build a new track somewhere? I don't think the economics of it would make sense at this point, unless you could guarantee something else.
I think just current economic state, it's almost contract everything back out east.
Yeah, I mean, you got Phoenix twice, you got Vegas twice. That's it. I mean, your next furthest races are Kansas twice and Texas. I'm not missing
And then
anything.
you got Gateway.
Yeah, it's like that's almost
Those are
Illinois.
games furthest west.
It's just, at least the Xfinity series goes up to Portland, which I don't know. I never really cared for that track for what I don't
It
know
was
why, but
entertaining race last year.
yeah, last year was, but it's just I don't know. Portland just generally doesn't excite me. I mean, where would you go? I mean, you'd have to think.
If as big as California is, there's not really tracks.
Not big
They have the
tracks. I mean,
short tracks and
you have
stuff.
like Kern County and Irwindale, and yeah, you've got numerous other little tracks near there, and I'm sure there's dirt tracks out there, and ARCA has races. The ARCA West Series has races in California, but they don't have. I don't know. I just think the Auto Club land sale was just incredibly short sighted. I think
Yeah, Auto Club was a good track, put on good
it was
races.
getting better too as it aged.
And it wasn't that old of a track, all
It was,
things considered.
20 plus years old. I mean, what? Okay, so let's just say, let's money aside. You have to build a track further west of Texas Motor Speedway. Money is no object. Where would you build it, and what kind of track would you build?
Can I say revamp of one?
Okay, no auto. You can't. Let's just assume Auto Club is dead. There's no chance of bringing that back. That's where you're going with that.
Maybe fun. Pikes Peak.
Yeah, Pikes Peak.
Good location, easy to get to, good sized track. Offer some unique racing. And then it's regional. You can get there pretty quick from LA or Seattle. Then even in the Midwest, you can get in.
I heard some things about the ownership of that track, and they have some weird rules as part of like the ownership. And it's like they, I don't think NASCAR is allowed to race there. I don't think IndyCar is allowed to race there,
Not anymore.
and they are not allowed to like the to license the track to use in a video game. No, I
Yeah,
mean, I think IndyCar might have something with this thermal club experiment. Good time that that's coming up this weekend. But I don't know if you're sending in essentially a glorified country club is the vibe you really want to go.
How do you like all the qualifying rules they have on this thing?
I I I couldn't even follow that. It was
You have two races and split drivers, and one race dictates the pole, but then the other is like the odd positions. It just run the race. Then they have a halftime, which
looking
would be
at
fun to see what it does on those cars because you got to cool them down.
I'm looking at Southern California, and like you get into Orange County, you can't do it. Like there's no land.
The terrain isn't suitable for the majority of it. You don't want to go into the Central Valley because you can't run anywhere in the spring, the summer months.
I mean, Fontana was a great geographical location from like to put a track. I mean, it's a little bit of a drive from Los Angeles, but there it is. I keep saying, hey, go back to Fontana. It's just unreal that they just gave up on that.
It'd be like Formula One at Monaco. Let's put them on the streets of Long Beach.
Oh man, could you imagine that?
They wouldn't fit.
No, they wouldn't fit, but I'm just saying, could you imagine that?
They're rumbling around the fountain.
I would bet money that the fountain would get destroyed if you put
I'm
NASCAR.
sure somebody would just drive through it.
Just plow her.
And
Oh
we saw
man.
the traffic jam in Chicago during the race. Can you imagine what it'd be like either on entrance or exit of the fountain? It'd be like that phone app game. Unjam all the cars.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you do. Yeah, well, I guess NASCAR's made their decision, unfortunately. But yeah, thermal club's coming up this weekend. That should be interesting. COTA weekend.
It'll be fun. SVG's back in. Um,
Do we have any
I'm
other
drawing a
any other
blank on his name. They're bringing in some road course ringers again.
yeah, any other ringers? Let's see. Let's see if they have the entry list yet. Here we go. Entry list for the Cup Series. SVG, yeah, we mentioned that. Tamuai Kobayashi will be driving the 50 for 23
That's what I was
2311.
thinking of.
There was this meme that somebody posted the other day where they said Kobayashi is it's the same Kobayashi that used to win the hot dog eating contests, and people were getting like really upset thinking that it was actually true, and they're like, "Nah, this has just become a gimmick. You're letting a hot dog eating guy drive a net." No, it's not the same guy.
No, it's a very accomplished race car driver.
Yes, he is. That's it. Timmy Hill's going to be in the 66, but otherwise, that's it for rate. Everybody else is regular. Let's look at the let's see. For the Xfinity, I did see Matt DiBenedetto is coming back, I think starting in Richmond. He'll be running in the Xfinity series. He got a gig finally. Ed Jones is gonna be running the 24. Man, you remember Ed Jones?
Yeah,
Used to see him in IndyCar. Looking to see any other SVG will be running the Xfinity race. I'm actually looking forward to watching the truck race on Saturday. Jack Hawksworth will be driving in the truck race. There's a name. Yeah, he's been doing IMSA lately. Marco Andretti will be in the truck race. There's a driver I've never heard of. Driving the number 20 is Tiba. They've entered the 20 in the race this weekend, but they haven't announced the driver yet. Better make that decision soon, guys. Ross Chastain will be running the truck race. Yeah.
So I'm not 100% sure, but I think on my way in, I actually saw Austin Hill's hauler.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I saw a number in the mirror that it had big Chevy on the side, and I'm pretty sure it was 21.
Yeah, he does drive a Chevy.
And saw that, I'm like, I know where that's going.
It's on his way to Texas. Yeah, I tried to go out today for a little bit and put the next gen car into COTA. I came out of the pits and tried to take it easy coming around turn one, exiting the pits, and just went. I'm like,
Hey,
nope.
Nick, the next time we take the next gens out on Wednesday night dash, we need to do COTA.
I was kind of thinking that for next year. Like, do we do COTA?
I think we do. It's a fun track. I had a lot of fun on it in the truck.
I'm not gonna single out who it was. I think you know who it is, but I'm not gonna single it out. We don't want to do that. But last time we were in COTA, one of the drivers sat out on purpose. He's like, "Nope, I'm gonna be a liability out there. I'm not showing up."
I think I remember who that was.
Yeah, and then and then Bernard Pollard, when he was racing with us, he showed up for COTA, and he comes on the radio, goes, "Man, I'm just here so I don't get fined." I'm like, I feel like you said that once or twice in your life. He's like, yeah, you could say that.
I miss BP.
I need to reach out, say hi to him. I haven't talked to him in a bit. Actually, I reached out to him a couple weeks ago to see if they were sending him to Phoenix, and they haven't been sending him. He's been doing work with Ally, but they've only been very like I think they sent him to Daytona, and you'd think championship weekend would be a key event where they would send the main crew, but it's totally different. The Phoenix Midway atmosphere of the spring race versus the championship weekend race, and there's way more displays on championship weekend as you might expect.
Yeah, your bigger marquee event.
Yeah, I mean they had the Garage 56 car, which I didn't bother. I didn't know it was there until after I left, and then they had the new Dark Horse Mustang on display that I got a good close up with. Anyway, yeah, Thermal Club. Oh, and I guess some news from NBC, with Dale Jr. leaving. Lee Diffie is being pulled off of IndyCar broadcasts after Olympic break, moving him to NASCAR.
It's gonna be weird.
He's called a NASCAR racer too before. Rick Allen will be doing the Xfinity series from that point on. I wonder what drove that. I kind of get the hunch that NBC is going to lose its IndyCar coverage. It sounds like Fox really wants it, which nobody wants because all the criticism of a Fox broadcast and how dare you show racing during my commercials.
Well, I almost prefer Fox. Then you got NBC that'll put on golf and push
Yeah.
races later.
They'll bump IndyCar for golf, which
Even the NASCAR races.
yeah.
Notice when they went to NBC, if they were on the actual NBC network, they were all like 4, 5, 6 o'clock starts.
Yeah, or you'd have to watch it on CNBC because when I think of NASCAR, I think of CNBC.
Well, let's finish the round of golf first and put it in prime time. Then we'll go to a cup race.
So I kind of wonder, there's a lot of theories going around, but it's, you have to wonder if IndyCar is losing or NBC's losing IndyCar. They want to make sure Lee Diffie sticks around because he does, he does IMSA, he does like track and field. I'm sure he's going to do Olympic coverage too. So he's a very versatile announcer. He can do a lot of different things for you.
It's
And
unfortunate too that they have to take a break this year,
yeah, they're breaking NASCAR for 2 weeks because of the stinking Olympics.
which I get. You have to broadcast the Olympics, but it shouldn't stop a sport that's unaffected by it.
Is it me or does it seem like NBC like when in their sports coverage really only cares about the Olympics?
That's their main thing.
I mean, they do soccer decently well. They've got a good crew, studio crew for like the English Premier League, and they do soccer decently well. But I mean, they're also airing those games at like 4 a.m. Pacific time on Saturday morning sometimes. Very Formula One
And
like.
they are all about the Olympic coverage.
And I, what's his name? Dick Ebersol. He's like really high on the Olympics from what I understand. And he was a big driver of NBC getting the Notre Dame football contract. And it's like once he's not there, because he's not young anymore. I mean, I think he's in his mid late 70s at this point. Once he steps down from his role, does Notre Dame even have a football contract with NBC anymore? I don't even know.
I'm not sure.
NBC Sports has broadcasted all Notre Dame home games since September of 1991.
Yeah, Ebersol is 76.
Yeah, like he's not a young guy by any means, and they have the Big Ten coverage on NBC and Peacock. Notre Dame football. This will make a lot of people mad. Is Notre Dame really that much of a national draw anymore?
I think so, just because of
Tradition.
the history and tradition of Notre Dame football.
I just feel like NBC can't be making, it's not that much to them. I think Dick Ebersol's a lot, driving factor. Does he still work there?
Yeah. It's funny. There's a restaurant I'm going to be going to on Monday that's in Pensacola, Florida. It's McGuire's Irish Pub. Even down there, they have a Notre Dame room.
It's probably all dusty and yeah. It's like
And when you have a movie that's well known as Rudy,
the
it builds another big fan base off of that.
remember the running joke in Indiana about if you don't have a direct affiliation with any of the schools, then you have your reversible jacket fans. You got on one side Notre Dame football, and in the winter they've reversed the reversible starter jacket, and on the inside it says Indiana basketball.
Yeah.
That was classic.
We're
And it
still
was
here
always
with
funny
our black and
because like
gold.
people like that exist. Like they exist. There's a lot of them in Indiana that are the reversible, they call them the reversible jacket fans. And it's like, yep, Notre Dame football season's over. Time to root for IU basketball. And if you can't tell, well, you can tell. There's a
On
make,
it never fails.
yeah, Yeah,
Never leave home without it.
and the thing is with the you got the NCAA tournament coming up now. First four games are done,
I
and
don't watch those. I don't
yeah,
recognize them.
they barely count. But it's like everybody's the talk of the tournament is, oh, when will Purdue choke this year? It's like,
Please don't be first game again.
I, then my wife, she put her bracket, and she has Purdue losing in the finals to UConn. Like, how dare you? How
Hey, if
dare
they made it to Elite Eight, it'd be a successful year.
Hey, it's Final Four or bust because it's right here in Phoenix. I don't care how much I have to pay. I will spend my kid's college fund to get to the Final Four.
I like how their opening round is in Indianapolis, and I'm not close, so I can't go.
Yeah. I mean, at least, you got first two games in Indianapolis and fairly favorable. Kansas, one of their players I saw was sitting out, but God, it's just I saw one of my
Purdue's bracket is just loaded.
one of my friends who went to Purdue said, "Look, I get it. Purdue deserves all the criticism for their recent tournament woes, but he goes, God forbid if they win it all this year, I'm not shutting up for the next decade." And I said, Amen. I will join you there. I will be insufferable for the next decade if Purdue manages to pull it off.
Well, we'll see if they can pull a Virginia.
Yeah. Virginia was the
Lose
other
to a
16.
16, and then the following year go out and win it all.
And then they beat Purdue in the Elite Eight that year.
Yes.
That game still hurts thinking
Knock
about
on
it.
wood, but
Anyway,
it's like drywall. It's close enough.
this is close enough to wood.
Pull out facts and references. So
Yeah, we talk a little bit of racing. We make fun of Notre Dame. We make fun of Indiana. Talk a little NCAA, March Madness.
then there should be another race this weekend, right?
Oh, I almost completely forgot.
No, down under.
Yes. I love all the memes of everybody posting their photos and videos upside down.
Well, we pretty much can assume what is going to happen.
But
Max is
yeah,
going to win.
yeah.
The soap opera is going to continue. Sauber apparently wants to get rid of Botas.
Why?
I don't know. I was just reading something earlier that
Like
they just
who?
want to move on
It's like
and get
who
to
exactly are you gonna get that's
Audi.
better than that? I mean, the man finished second in the championship with Mercedes at least once.
At least the article I read pointed out how they went from sixth to ninth in the constructors
Yeah, that's not his
after
fault.
bringing them in.
That's
No, they
not.
have terrible equipment.
Yeah, that's not his fault.
Put Max and Lewis in their stuff, and they're still going to be at the
You know
back of
what?
the field.
Fire him. We will gladly take him over here in IndyCar.
That'd be fun. Bring him over.
I think he would be great for IndyCar. He's talked about it, but he said I still have got Formula One rides, so I'm not talking about that.
He would bring a great personality to the
Yes,
sport,
yes.
and he would
He
have
can sell
fun
his
with it.
yes, he can sell his naked butt calendars at the 500.
Where, no disrespect, but you have Grosjean who came over, and it's everybody else's fault for every time that he wrecks.
But the thing is, he was a draw. Like he was a draw for the series, despite him being like not exactly relevant until he almost died. Like people
Yeah,
were
you got that
watching this thinking
initial.
we were watching a man burn to death, and then he gets out of the car, and
Oh yeah,
and
when I was watching that race live, and when I saw that crash, I'm pretty sure I stopped breathing for a
yeah, like I
minute or
didn't
two.
watch it live. I saw it after the fact, but I'm just like, how did he survive? Then he's making jokes about it, like, is my shoe? When they had the car on display in the Formula One traveling museum, he's like, is my shoe still in there?
Yeah, my reaction was probably what you would expect seeing a crash like that. I couldn't believe it.
Oh, I've had a few of those where you got those crashes and you're just like, oh, like the British Grand Prix from a couple years ago.
Oh, Guan Yu's.
Yeah, or he turned upside down and then flipped up into the tire wall. I wasn't sure if he was still alive when that happened, and yeah,
Yeah,
that
we did
was
an episode with that on
yeah,
the Halo.
yeah. I mean, the Halo saved his life. He would have been dead
Both
otherwise.
of those.
Yeah, it's amazing how the safety, because let's see, we IndyCar's last death was probably Justin Wilson,
I believe so.
and that was what 2017, 16, 15.
16 sounds right. It
It was
was at
before the aero
Pocono.
screen. 2015.
Yeah, Botas was playing at F1, reporting that one. I think they're gonna move on from everybody.
Well, I mean, they're 26. They're rebranding that team as Audi, aren't they? Isn't that the one that's becoming Audi?
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's just like they're just keeping the seat warm and just doing the goofy name with the bright green.
I like the green.
Yeah, it is a good looking car. Just sucks. But still, all three come to America. We will embrace you.
I still want to see how long Holly Behrman stays in the top 10 in points.
There was talk of him being offered a seat at Haas. It's like, why would he want that?
It's
You you
I
make
would
your
almost relate that
debut
to
driving a Ferrari, and then you're gonna get offered a Haas as your full time ride. Well,
other than
and
the money that comes with it. I'd almost compare it to like the football and basketball drafts. I wouldn't want to be so good that I go number one because that means I'm going to a terrible team.
yeah, and they're gonna be terrible probably for a while.
I want to
But
be just good enough to fall down so I can actually go to a really good team.
well, let's look too. You had remember Liam Lawson? He had a pretty solid run when he got his chance, but he did get a ride. I don't even know what he's doing right now. Is he a reserve? What is he doing?
It's fun to see what drivers still have rides versus the ones that aren't in there. There's so much of it too. Put Liam Lawson in a Red Bull and he's going to score points.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You put him in any of those other five teams and they're going to struggle for pace.
Yeah, he's a reserve driver for Red Bull and RB.
With the projection of them getting the RB19, they are not fast.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Like you think, oh great, they're gonna be 1 through 4 every race, and then they're
Yeah, RB's doing nothing. Alpine is terrible. Haas somehow managed to score a point because
well,
of questionable tactics.
yeah, there's some questionable tactics for sure. Williams has had a very frustrating start after their progress they made last year.
And it's funny, Williams might be the best of the next five,
I think they are. I really
with
do.
just how bad the other teams have been so far at this point.
But we don't want Andretti because they won't be competitive. Yeah, there's a meme too that I saw the other day about Alpine, and it was like all the celebrities that invested in Alpine, and they just show a bunch of like sad faces popping around. Because there's a lot of Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds, I think, were part of that group that bought into Alpine, and it's no
The whole argument that they use to keep Andretti out is
horse
ridiculous, and
manure.
it should not be up to teams to decide. It should be the governing body. They approved it. They should be on the grid.
Yes.
Because the teams are always going to say no.
Yeah, because it's money that's being taken from them.
you're going to take money out of our pocket. Why would we do that?
Yeah, there's no incentive for them to say yes.
And because they don't care if Andretti is going to win or lose. They might care if they win, but at the end of the day, less money in pockets.
Yeah, so Alpine's investor group that bought in June 2023, Ryan Reynolds bought 24%. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelsey, golfer Rory McIlroy, former heavyweight champion boxer Anthony Joshua, and then footballers Trent Alexander-Arnold from Liverpool and Juan Mata, who used to play for Manchester United back in the day. Not that long ago, but they all bought into this team, and I think they got suckered.
I think the other part that plays into it with the other teams, those top teams got their development all set up in place and then put that cost cap in.
It's going to take a long time for the rest of them to catch up.
And the others with that cap, I think, unless those top teams stagnate, the others will never catch up. There's going to constantly be a year behind, 2 years behind.
With the cost cap, I mean, James Falls basically said Williams, it's going to take them probably 5 or 6 years before they could be considered, to catch up to Red Bull or Mercedes or Ferrari or even McLaren.
But that's to catch up. That doesn't even factor
what
their
games
future development.
Yeah,
is look at Red Bull.
I mean, 26 will be interesting. Stuff. And they make all the changes for 26. There's going to be a shit. I just don't know what yet. And who knows what state Red Bull will be in by then. What a mess.
Even to get up to Aston Martin and McLaren, the teams have a way to go.
You have to wonder how much longer Lance Stroll stayed there. I mean, I know his dad owns the team, but
he doesn't even care.
It's been made very clear by the people close to him that he does not care. It's so frustrating because you see guys like Ollie Berman and Liam Lawson out there and Jack Doohan. They want their spot, and you have somebody like like Lance Stroll, who probably wouldn't be anywhere near Formula One if it wasn't for his fact his dad bought the team.
The ultimate pay to play.
Yeah, and that's that's the thing, and the other thing too, and in their defense, as we move on and we get into these series, like you're going to have second, third, fourth generation drivers. That's going to happen. Yeah, it's like, oh, look, it's Kyle Petty. Oh, it's he's Richard Petty. He's only in there because his last name is Petty. It's like, yeah, and I mean, you look at any sport, you've got the sons of greats and former players, and that's what happens.
I mean, look at NASCAR. You got Nemechek, Burton, LaJoy,
numerous Earnhardts.
Yeah. Elliott. There's a bunch.
I hear Kyle Busch's kid's going to be in there sooner or later, you have to think.
Oh, and even on the IndyCar, see a up and comer, Sebastian Weldon. He's doing pretty good.
He'll be there. He'll have an IndyCar ride in about, what's he, like 12 now?
Yeah, for another 10 years he's got one.
Yeah, he'll be up and going through the next, and
he'll get into within 4 years start getting into USF. And
it's hard to believe his dad died almost, well, it was 12 and a half years ago now. Yikes.
I still remember the day.
I remember watching it live on TV when it happened, and I was just like, oof.
I was busy and turned it on when I got home, and they're talking, I go, this is not good.
I saw the
I
crash
knew
happen
immediately.
live, and you see the cars flying everywhere. I'm like, okay, this is not going to end up well for somebody. And yeah, anyway,
Yep.
such a down note to end this week. So another week off for Indy Racing World Series. We'll be back at Auto Club, which we haven't talked enough about tonight, of course. And
Yeah,
then
250 miles starting in the evening.
Wednesday night dash. Wednesday night dash will be back April 17th from Pocono in the trucks. So sign up. We'd love to have you. You know, we're gonna push that 20 car goal this time. I'm gonna make it happen. We're gonna make 20 cars.
And still not too late to come out for the Indy season. We're only 3 races in. We had to postpone one. So still got 7 to go.
Pro Rich in.
Yep. And it was only a $10 entry to start with. And races are broadcast.
On that note, frracingonline.com. And we didn't even talk about my kids' sim rig that I built them, which was a huge hit on social media. I was telling you, I said this is the best non-real, non-video that I've ever posted on Instagram. It was a huge hit. I've got people reaching out all over, people I know, people I don't know, like, hey, this is really cool what you did for your kids.
Your kids now have a nicer sim rig setup than I do.
all it took was about $50 worth of lumber at Lowe's to
Yep.
maybe maybe I inspired Extreme Sim Racing for their next one to make the junior rig. Free prototype. Anyway, yeah, my kids have been playing F1. They like the Ferrari car, so I got them got them last year's Ferrari shirt. Like, today's lesson in life is disappointment. frracingonline.com, at frracingonline. Follow us on social media, streaming platforms. See you again Monday for the race recap of a lot of things. Actually, no, we'll see you Saturday night live. Tune in, FR Racing Online on all our social media platforms, and watch with us. Join the Discord link is in this description. Hop in, throw your 2 cents in, make fun of us, tell us we're morons, and yeah. So
yeah, pretty much.
Don't care.
We'll probably end up talking basketball during the race. Makes sense.
It's like, oh, this is boring. Maybe I'll pull out the red wine whiskey that I started drinking at last year's Australia. I haven't touched since. On that note, thanks for watching. We'll see you Saturday night.
Take care.